If we want to kill every limiting belief that we have and become unstoppable, we have to stop treating every negative thought like it is the truth. Most of the time, the thing holding us back is that a small voice is saying, "This is not possible for me. What will people think?" And so on. But what if that voice only feels true because we matched it with our past, our traumas, and the same story we kept repeating for too long? Most people think becoming unstoppable means never doubting ourselves. No fear, no bad days, or no negative thoughts. And I get it, because even the most anxious people can look confident on the outside while carrying storms inside. But this does not mean that negative thoughts or fear need to control us. Real confidence is not the calm face outside. It is the storm inside that we stop obeying. So, let's talk about how we can break limiting beliefs before they decide who we become. I like to talk about this because I've struggled with it, and I like to share my point of view. The first thing is simple. The first thought does not matter as much as the second one. The first thought might say, "I can't do this," or a limiting belief that triggers emotions in you so you think that it's a valid reason. But that thought can come from old failure, embarrassment, family, friends, or years of seeing ourselves the same way. So what we need to do is stop believing that first thought immediately. Pause for a second and ask, is this actually true? Or is this an old wound speaking again? Then answer it with a stronger second thought and take one small action that proves the old belief wrong. Because if we never question that first voice, how many decisions are we making from fear instead of the person we are trying to become? The second thought is where we take control. When the mind says, "I can't do this," we need to answer it with something we can do. Because every time we obey that limiting belief, it gets stronger. But every time we challenge it, it gets weaker. But here is the part most people miss. We cannot feed our mind garbage every day and expect strong thoughts to come out. If we scroll through anger, drama, gossip, fear, people complaining, then of course, our mind becomes heavy. The brain works with what we give it. If the input is negative, the output will not magically become positive. It is the same thing as hanging around with drug users every day. Most likely, sooner or later, that environment starts pulling you in too. And our mind works the same way. What we stay around, we slowly start to become. Even if we are socially anxious and we do not have many people around us, we can still become the average of the 5 people we follow, watch, and listen to online. So choose people who inspire you, challenge you, and make the version of you that you want to become feel possible. So becoming unstoppable is not only about adding motivation. Sometimes it starts with removing what keeps making us weak. That means we need to cut out the low-level content, the pointless arguments, and the things that quietly pull our focus into negativity. We also need to pay attention to the conversations that keep dragging us back into the same mood, because the things we consume are not just entertainment. They slowly become the way we think. And this also means we have to be careful with people. Some people do not directly say, "You can't do it." They just laugh a little when we talk about changing. They make growth sound unrealistic. They remind us of who we used to be and so on. If we keep listening long enough, their doubts start sounding like our own voice. We do not have to hate them, but we do have to protect the version of us that is trying to grow. After that, we need to give our mind better voices. This is where affirmations can help, especially before sleep, not in one day, but through repetition. Because when we start falling asleep, the brain moves from an active state into a calmer alpha and theta state, where the mind becomes more open to what we keep repeating. So if the last thing we feed our mind is fear, doubt, and comparison, that story keeps getting practiced. But if we give it better words, slowly, the mind starts getting used to a better story. But words alone are not enough. Real belief comes from proof. Every time we keep a small promise, do the thing we almost skipped, or turn away from what makes us weaker, we give our brain proof that the old belief is losing power. That is how limiting beliefs die. We stop agreeing with them, stop feeding them, and start proving a different version of ourselves with our actions. So, let me wrap it up. If we want to kill every limiting belief and become unstoppable, we have to stop letting the first negative thought control what action we will take. We have to protect what goes into our mind. We have to stop giving access to people who make growth feel impossible or talk negatively. And we have to stack small wins until the old version of us has nothing left to stand on. I know this takes time. It is not a one-day fix, but I truly believe we can build it. So tell me in the comments what you think will be the hardest part for you to change, or share your own experience with overcoming a limiting belief that can be helpful.